Hello and welcome to the live coverage of the first T20 between Sri Lanka A women and New Zealand A women. It's a bright and sunny morning here at the Rangiri Dambulla International Cricket Stadium, and the weather is looking great for a good game of cricket between these two sides. We've had 3 games so far in this New Zealand A tour of Sri Lanka, 3 one-day international one-dayers, where Sri Lanka have unfortunately been unable to notch up a win. New Zealand A, on the other hand, coming up trumps in that final game, winning comfortably. But those games are done now. We are on to the T20 leg, and I'm joined by Kosala Suresh Chandra to discuss the T20s. Kosala, welcome.
Good morning and welcome, Mr.
It's looking like a great day for some cricket.
Yeah, I think that's what was expected, isn't it? Like, say, we've had 2 games washed out in the ODIs, and then we had a result in the final game. But today, it's looking bright and sunny. It's quite humid, so hopefully, we will have a full game. Yeah,
disappointing for A series when there are washouts, isn't it? But some unavoidable things with the weather.
Yeah, it's something that nobody has control over, the weather. But going forward, I think what these teams are really looking at, not really the result. It's about rebuilding or finding out who the talent that they have in their bench strength or in their resources to come and challenge the national players in going forward, because this is a very good opening for both these teams.
Right, Kosala, you are out there just to have a look at the pitch early on in the day. Let's head to the pitch report.
It's a bright and sunny morning with blue skies, with white clouds around, a lush green outfield, 65 yards, equal to all parts. Well, and also, I have a slight breeze coming in from my right to left from the bunker, however, but I feel that if you're a right-hand batter, you would want to favour and go on to the onside with some big hits in this type of a format. Well, but let's take a look at how the surface goes like, because this is used for the last ODI. Well, to me, it looks a rock-solid surface with a lot of brownish with very little green grass on it. So I feel that it looks a surface, loads of runs, and the captain winning the toss might feel that they want to bat first. But I would say that we are looking at a par score of about 150.
Well, rock-solid surface is how Kosala has described this pitch. Plenty of runs in it, is it, Kosala?
Yeah, it looks very hard, but obviously there's been no preparation for the pitch because it's been covered for 2 days. There might be a little bit of sweating underneath it earlier on, but I don't think that's going to affect much. But it looks a good pitch for batting, and I feel that the captain winning the toss will definitely want to bat first.
Right, Kosala says win the toss, bat first. Let's see what the captains have to say. Iran is out there with the 2 skippers.
It's a beautiful morning in Dambulla, and we are all set to toss the coin. Right then I have the 2 skippers with me, Satya Sandeepani from Sri Lanka, Jess Watkin from New Zealand, and Chaturan Jayasena, our standing match umpire, and Mangala Jayasena, our standing match referee for the day. Satya will the coin for us. Tails is the call. It is a tails. Jesse, I won the toss. What have you decided to do here first?
We're going to have a bet today.
What do you take of the service? What do you think would be a good total on this service here today?
Again, I'm still not sure about the total. I think the pitch sort of changes as the game goes on. So I think it's going to get a little bit lower and slower and maybe harder to score on.
Different format from the one days. How are the girls prepared for the T20 games?
Yeah, I think, again, we've loved our preparation here. We've had lots of time in the nets and the facilities here are great. So I feel like we're pretty confident moving into the series.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
Sada, are you happy to bowl first on the surface?
I hope this bat first won the toss.
So it's a different format once again from the one days. How are the girls prepared for these T20 games?
Team is trained well. I hope today match well.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.
Right, so the news from the centre is that New Zealand A women's team have won the toss and they will have a bat first.
So as expected, won the toss, and New Zealand have decided to have a bat first in this Dambulla Stadium. So, Kosala, how much do you think that they'll be looking for here?
Well, I think looking at something around 140 plus. 150, yes, they will take it. But if they can go beyond that, yes, that will be really good. But I would feel that they're looking at something around 150. They know the taste of the surface. They know how the Sri Lankan bowlers have moved around in the previous game. So I think, and they've got a few hitters who can really take on the bowling. So I think they will be looking definitely nothing below 150.
Yes, certainly the batting prowess of New Zealand needs to be discussed. 278 is what they got in that final ODI. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, seem to be lacking in that power department. So it's an important toss to win, isn't it, for New Zealand?
Yeah, I think they will go on the strength because they know that the Sri Lankans do lack the power hitting, as you quite correctly said, and the ability for them to chase down a total. So it's always nice to have runs on the board going into a game like this.
Yeah, you mentioned that this kind of tour, this kind of series is more about identifying the next in line. Do you think that with the World Cup coming up in June, that you have some opportunities? Before you come to that, let's look at the two teams. Sanjana Kavindi, Lihini Apsara, Vishmi Gunaratna, Piyumi Vatsala, Satya Sandeepani is a very, very strong batting lineup for Sri Lanka. At the same time, New Zealand, as we discussed, Kate Anderson, she's the one with the power at the top of the order. Bella James, Prue Catton, Tash, they've got some big hitters in that lineup.
Yeah, that's what they were looking at. Go big at the start. Get the maximum out of the power play and try to capitalize on that point onwards. So if they have, maybe if they can go around 7 to 8 runs and over at the start with a minimum loss, that's, I think, what New Zealand really would be looking at.
From the bowling point of view, it's an opportunity as well, right, to restrict some big hitters in these two teams.
Yeah, it's always a cat and mouse game, isn't it? Like the bowler wouldn't want the batter to win and the batter would want the bowler to win. So it's simply a cat and mouse game. And obviously, these girls and ladies are trained very well to adjust according to the situation. So I think they'll put their heart and soul out to it and try and restrict the New Zealand in a Sri Lankan perspective. On the New Zealand perspective, they'll try to get the maximum out of the bowlers.
Just quickly before we head to the anthems, we were talking about the opportunity with the T20 World Cup coming in. Do you think there are a couple of names here that might make it into those squads?
Yeah, you never know because it's about a month to go. And I think the main purpose is to try and identify 1 or 2 players to try and take it. New Zealand might feel that they might have found 1 or 2 players going into the World Cup. Sri Lanka will also feel that they will want to maybe even have them in the bench strength so that it brings a good advantage to that player. But we'll have to wait and see because we had only 1 game still throughout the series. So it's really not easy to say that we're going to get 1 or 2 from this squads going into the national side.
Right, so that's a story out there in the middle pre-match. New Zealand have won the toss and decided to have a bat first. Let's head to the anthems now.
Well, it's another gorgeous day here in Dambulla. bright and sunny. Just as you saw, formalities have done. Very important series. So much significance attached to it. World Cup not too far away. T20 Women's World Cup few weeks away. And few players in both the squads looking to make an impression and try and raise their hands up to be in the national reckoning. New Zealand coming into this game high on confidence after winning that third one-day with a huge margin. As you're looking at two umpires just about to walk into the middle. Lush green outfield as always. It's a picturesque setting here in Dambulla. Almost always provide a fantastic track and everything is in readiness. Sri Lanka hoping for an improved performance. I thought they went down pretty badly against New Zealanders during the third one-day. It's about being competitive. Few changes, of course. Few players coming into the side. The likes of Vitindi Alvis, Pramadi Metsara, Sachini Nisansala, Shashini Gimhani, Asheni Talagune and Rondi Premaratne. And today, Shashini Gimhani and Sachini Nisansala coming into the side to strengthen the bowling stocks. Sri Lanka, they got to be vigilant in the field to restrict hard-hitting New Zealanders. Kate Anderson in particular, together with Bella Armstrong, decimated Sri Lankan bowlers during the first game. And Sri Lankans got their work cut out as they are huddling up for the final moment. Satya Sandipani leading the side. Not too many contributions when it comes to bat and with the ball. And today, she'll be eyeing much improved performance as you're looking at two openers. Looks like we got a change. If I'm not mistaken, just Watkin opening the batting. Intentions are pretty clear. Quick runs during the first power play. New day, new format, fantastic setting. We are ready to go. Deepal Gunawardena, very experienced umpire in the domestic circuit, together with Nimali Pereira. Been in the international scene numerous times, officiating Women's International World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. And we have Chamara de Souza as our TV umpire. And match referee, Mr. Mangala Jayasena, and Sanjeeva joining us as the reserve umpire. Beautiful day and the weather forecast relatively good. We are hopeful that we get a full game as you are looking at very powerful Jess Watkin. They've done exceedingly well. They didn't start it off really well. Sri Lanka, they played freely and took good runs during the first two one-dayers. But the third one-day, that's the turning point for the New Zealanders. Then they will be hoping to bring out the same confidence, same playing patterns, and few players in good form. And that young lady, Rashmika Sewandi, done decently well, I thought, during the third one-day. Went for a few runs, picked up a wicket. Yes, she always gives her best, 110%. Slip, point, cover, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, short mid, and deep backward square leg together with deep third man. That's the field set. Dipal Guruvardhana says, let's play, ladies. Here's the first delivery. Straight away, pulled away, and oh my goodness, not the sort of a start Sri Lankans would have hoped for. Just pulled away very powerfully. That was straight into the hands of Demi Vihanga. Not paying attention. First delivery, Sri Lanka created an opportunity, but unfortunately not taken. She probably under a little bit of pain. Very powerfully played. And burst through the hands and hitting her on her face, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully nothing serious. My good friend Iran Kararatna alongside me. Good morning.
A very good morning, Dhammika. Not the kind of start that the Sri Lankans would have wanted to have. Would have been a perfect start, though, if the ball did hang in Demi's hand. But unfortunately, creeping through her hands, Jess Watkin, the skipper, getting alive. We're lucky there for the New Zealand skipper. The very first delivery, the short mid was on plays. Rashmika Sewandi dugging it in short. Probably they were not expecting it to come at her the very first delivery. There you go. That was pulled strong. But at this level of cricket, Dhammika, you do expect to catch those kind of catchers when it comes by your way.
No two words. Burst through the hands and hit her on her chin. By the looks of it, looks all right. Attention given. Sri Lanka. This is the sort of chances you need to hang on when you're playing international. This is, of course, not an international game officially, but very important series. When you're looking at what's coming. Went on to mention about Women's World Cup. White Ferns already in England doing fairly well. A few players from this setup raised their hands up. Bella Armstrong, Kate Anderson, and from Sri Lanka, the likes of Vishmi Gunaratne looks to get on to a good form. Not too many runs during the ODI, one day part of the tournament, series rather. And James, not too many runs, but she kept company to the opening partner. It was a very good start for them during the third one day.
Right, then we are all set and back, ready for live action. Rashmika Sewandi. The intentions are clear. The New Zealand batters, they're looking to take on the Sri Lankan bowlers from the word go. It looks a beautiful day in Dambulla. Lovely weather conditions. The sun is popping out. The surface looks good for batting. Kosal out there in the middle during the pitch report did mention there could be plenty of runs on offer. So what I believe is that the New Zealanders, they have walked out with the proper plan. They're going to go at the Sri Lankan bowlers from the word go. Looking for that short and jab. They'll be on her toes though.
They're particularly strong when it comes to horizontal bat shots. We saw from Kate Anderson during the second and third one day, and skipper Jess Watkin already proven powerful pull that burst through the hands of Demi Vihanga.
Good bit of fielding. Well, the ground fielding of the Sri Lankan team, it has been at a good level, but the problem has been in the catching. We did see plenty of catches going down during the one days as well, so I'm pretty sure the team alongside with the coaching staff might have worked around it.
There you go. They need 110% commitment. Just as you mentioned, their ground fielding was all right. I'm not going on to say that they've done excellent.
And that's a beautiful shot, played with authority. That'll be the first boundary for the women in black to open their account for James. In fact, the total moves up to 5.
That was in the slot, invitation extended, and she's not gonna miss out. Given the full Monty, thrown the kitchen sink at it, gets the first boundary. That's the way to go. Room outside the off stump, opportunity taken, first boundary for the New Zealanders.
Yeah, especially during the first 6 overs, they will try and make full use of it. Plenty of runs on offer, lovely outfield, beautiful lush green. Even though there have been some rain during the past few days, it looks perfect, isn't it? That was a beautiful delivery, held on for a little bit. First over done, 5 without loss. Jess Watkin is ready to face Shamudi Prabodha, one of the rising stars, young talents for Sri Lankan women's cricket. She definitely has a bright future, isn't it? She has done a lot with the ball in hand. She was brilliant during the one days as well. And definitely, everyone would be looking forward to her. Probably striding outside the off stump, loud appeal, trying to sweep across the line in the very first delivery.
You should have great deal of skills and you got to be brave. Struck few inches outside the off stump. Good on field call.
Sweeps it and sweeps it high. One bounce is it? We'll have to wait for the umpire signal. No, the hands goes up. That's half a dozen. Pressure straight away on Shamudi Prabodha. And intentions are being confirmed. Jess Watkin walking out as the opening batter just to make an impression.
She played that shot as good as anyone. I mean, intentionally played towards the backward square leg region. No protection. Expertly done.
Loud appeal and the finger goes up. There you go, Shamudi Prabodha. She will have a last laugh. Well, the previous one goes for a 6 and she comes back with a massive strike. What better could you expect from a bowler after being hit for a 6?
Impeccable line and length. She was hit for a 6 previous delivery. How about that for a comeback delivery? Sliding in, would have crashed onto the leg stump. Good on field called. Sri Lanka strikes. Important breakthrough. This lady on your screen, had she stayed for a long period, she'll be destructive. After 7 of 4 deliveries, Sri Lanka strikes 11 for 1.
The new batter walks out to the middle. Well, important breakthrough for the Sri Lankan ladies. They managed to get the big wicket of the skipper. Tash Wecklin walks out to the middle. Another talented young batter from the New Zealand team. She'll be definitely looking forward to make an impression. Shamudi Prabodha. Well. I'm surprised to see that the New Zealand batters are trying to go across the line against Shamudi Prabodha.
I'm guessing preset plan. Sweeping across the line of the delivery. Get the foot outside the line of the delivery, and even if it's struck, it'll be more or less outside the line of the off stump.
Different ideas from James. Dancing down the ground. But Shamudi Prabodha, she's smart enough though, dragging the length down a little bit.
As the previous dismissal on the back foot, paying the price. That one skidded on.
Oh, this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Shamudi Prabodha. Just 7 runs and a wicket. 2 overs done, 12 for 1. We're 12 for 1 after 2 overs. New Zealanders, well, they walked out to the middle with positive intentions of going after the Sri Lankan bowlers. They have showed it, but unfortunately so far the execution has not been to perfection. Rashmika Sewandi, she will continue. 4 more overs left in the power play. It's very important that the New Zealanders try and at least get to a 45 runs.
Now, looking at how they played their shots, Damika, they are trying to pick the ball out of a shorter length. They're trying for that short and jab a lot rather than waiting for the delivery until it arrives.
Not too much of pace and bounce on this track. Kept a little low. New Zealanders, as we all know, they have built up playing on a faster tracks.
Throwing the kitchen sink outside the off stump. Slight movement for Rashmika.
I can tell you that one going past the edge, smelling the edge. Good piece of bowling. Whenever Rashmika gets that impeccable shape, she means business.
It's good to see that the Sri Lankan bowlers are up and ready to take the challenge. They know, in fact, the New Zealand batters have come out positively. Gets the outside edge. There is protection. So there you go. That's the plan. They're going to throw their bats at every single delivery, look to score as much as possible runs, especially during the power plays. But on the other hand, they need to figure out what are the deliveries that they need to attack and what they need to defend.
That previous delivery, I can tell you, a bit of a moral victory for Rashmika Sewandi. Nice shape outside the off stump. Went in the air, not close to the fielders.
Looking for a cheeky little shot. Smart enough from Rashmika Sewandi. Throwing it outside the off stump. Getting the batter to do a little bit of extra work to get it into the leg side.
I really like this about the Sri Lankans so far. Sense of urgency, intent, showcasing intent. Wicketkeeper knew straight away. Going for a cheeky little paddle, and wicketkeeper set off immediately.
Full and driven. All along the ground. What a lovely shot that was. Rashmika Sewandi. She isn't happy though. 4 more runs added to the total.
With Fuller, got hit me written all over it. And batter had no hesitation. Lovely swing of the bat into the gap where Clean picks up her first boundary. Things once again looking good. Starting to look good for the New Zealanders. There you go. Half volley. Plenty of room outside the off stump.
Opens up the offside. Flashing blade. But there is protection at deep third man. That completes over number 3. 7 runs coming off. That 19 for 1. Shamudi Prabodha, she will continue. 3 overs done in the power play. They have managed to keep things quiet so far, the Sri Lankan bowlers. Sweeps it, but there is protection. Shamudi probably getting a line a little bit wavered there, trying to fire it in towards the batter.
What I like about Sri Lankans today, they didn't let the batters off the hook. Kept them under relative control. 6.32 is the run rate. You certainly wouldn't mind.
Walks across the line. A chance created. And it goes a begging. Well, this is what I was talking about. The fielder down there, the deep square leg boundary. The judgment was poor. She just had a fraction of a second where she thought of going back and realizing that she needed to step in front.
That was the intention. That's the point of having that fielder. Should have been taken. But unfortunately, another chance gone a begging. Off the back foot, clean bowled. Strong comeback. Shamudi strikes once again. James got out for 9.
Well, once again, a boundary to follow up with a wicket. This is absolutely brilliant from this young kid. She has been so impressive with the ball in hand. And the most important fact is that she has stood up to the challenge. Yes, you are being hit for a boundary, a catching chance going down. But take a closer look at this. Once again, the slider, hardly any movement. In fact, any turn off the surface, crashing into the off stump.
Lovely piece of bowling. Outstanding rhythm. Bella James, 9 runs, 10 deliveries. New Zealand 24 for 2.
The new batter walks out to the middle. Armstrong. She was brilliant the other day. Bella Armstrong. Well, the player of the match in the final one-day game, a brilliant 59 with the bat in hand. A 3-wicket hat-trick with the ball in hand. There you go. Looking for the shots early days in her innings as well.
Bella Armstrong demonstrated how strong she can be. With the bat, with the ball, outstanding day coming into this game high on confidence.
Once again, the slider from Chamudi. We'll have to wait for the umpire's call. Probably got a little bit of thin brush on her way. There you go. That's the wicket we are talking about.
Got one to skid on with her lovely action once again. Not short, not fuller. Bit of a knock-on, not conceding additional run. Excellent over despite conceding 5 runs after 4. Sri Lanka doing well. New Zealand 24 for 2. Few changes of both Scots. Sri Lanka bringing in Sachin Nisansala and Shashini Gimhani. Notable change for the New Zealanders. Kate Anderson not featuring today.
Satya Sandipani, the skipper. Straight away, the brooms are out against the skipper as well. No hesitation on going down on one knee and sweeping. There are a couple of fielders, one behind square and one front of square for that exact shot. So the Sri Lankans realizing that the New Zealand batters are trying to go after them one after the other, they made sure that the field placements are almost in line with how the New Zealand batters are trying to take things on. There you go, slaps outside the off stump, straight into the basket. That's the third nail on the coffin for the New Zealanders. Satya Sandipani strikes off a second delivery, looping it outside the off stump, inviting Armstrong to drive and gets the little bit of outside edge and pays the price.
Sri Lanka keeps the run rate under check, also picking up vital breakthroughs. Take a look at it. Floated outside the off stump, back of a length. Armstrong went for it, paying the price based on our form. This is a huge wicket for the Sri Lankans, I can tell you. Satya Sandipani picking up a wicket. Bella Armstrong out for naught of 4 deliveries, 25 for 3. It's very, very important picking up wickets inside first power play for 6 overs. So crucial in this format. You let the opposition off the hook, you pay the price. Prue Catton into the crease, performed fairly well during the first 3 ODIs, one-dayers. Satya Sandipani picking up a wicket off a second delivery. Well bowled. Nice loop. Outside the off stump and enticing the batter to lunge forward out half of the bat straight to the fielder. Prukatton entrusted with the duties of batting in the middle at number 5.
That tells you a story. It's a huge breeze. You could call it a wind, though. Strong wind, in fact, that's blowing across the ground. Prukatton, 22 years of age, from the Auckland.
Yes, the previous dismissal once again. Invitation extended. I mean, you can't blame the batsman for doing that. Only mistake was opening the bat face little too much. Paved way for another dismissal. Straight to the fielder. Excellent over so far. Final delivery coming up.
Yeah, it's good to see the battle between the bat and ball. The Sri Lankans, they're up and running at this stage. 25 runs on the board for the loss of 3 wickets so far. Beautifully sliding in. Quick single. Chance at the bowler's end. They make it comfortably. 5 overs done. 26 for 3.
So Devmi Vihanga into the attack for Sri Lanka. New Zealand A, after winning the toss, in a bit of trouble. 26 for 3 after 5 overs. They have some work to be done if they want to get into a winning position. And Sri Lanka going for the jugular. They brought in their strike bowler Devmi Vihanga. Played on to the onside, just a single. So Catton keeping the scoreboard ticking.
Yeah, I think not what New Zealand would have expected. They would have wanted a much more aggressive approach, more flamboyant start at the top. But they lost 3 key wickets. Now it's a rebuilding process for these two batters, Vacklin and Carson.
Once again, the sweep brought out, and that's a poor bit of fielding in the deep. Lets it go, and another boundary to New Zealand. Not good from Sri Lanka A.
No, this has been a point. If you really look at the previous 5 overs up to now, let's take a look at this again. The sweep was invited. Let's take a look at how the fielder responded. There we go. Yeah, that should have been stopped. In this form of the game, that's not acceptable. Sri Lanka's dropped 2 catches already. The fielding has not been really up there.
Wide outside the off stump. Vihanga, this time a dot ball from her. So just going on with the arm on that occasion. Once again, wide outside the off stump. This time, umpire Nimali Pereira calls it a wide. So that tactic just to prevent the batter from playing the sweep, costing her an extra.
You see what Deomi has done right after that boundary is that she's gone more wide of the wicket, wide of the crease rather, and trying to angle it or more rather dart it on a 4th stump line.
There's a good bit of fielding from Vihanga. Quick to move onto her right to prevent that single. New Zealand, just a couple of deliveries left in this power play. They'll want to make the most of the field being inside the circle. Another dot ball. So it's been good bowling from Vihanga since that boundary.
You see, the fear here for Vihanga is now because she's got her boundary riders on the onside. She's going on a fourth stump off some line. The moment the batter finds an edge or something or the gap, it's 4 for the taking.
This time straighter. And that's another boundary of Catton's bat this time. Clears her front foot. Swings on the leg side. It's a good over for New Zealand so far. And that's the end of the over, in fact. So it's 41 for 3 after 6 overs.
We're back live from the Rangiri Dambulu International Cricket Stadium. If you haven't heard, this is the first of the 3 T20Is between this New Zealand and Sri Lankan A teams of women's cricket. And again, that sweep coming into play. New Zealand skipper won the toss. They decided that they will bat first. They've not got the best start that they would have expected. The power play, they lost 3, they got 38. It's a rebuilding process for the two batters out there right now.
Satya Sandeepani into her second over has picked up that sole wicket. Good delivery on that occasion. Just knocked back past the bowler for a single.
Interesting field, still, because now the field changing for the next batter. 3 boundary riders on the onside and nobody close in on the on. And
once again, single down to long on. It's been a decent partnership by this pair, trying to rebuild this innings after being reduced to 26 for 3. Full toss, but unable to make the most of it. Catton hits it straight to the fielder at deep mid wicket, so she'll be disappointed with that.
yeah, she took it on the full, isn't it? Came down the track. Sandeepani is not the express pace type of delivery. She gives a lot of air. And this time goes across the line. And that's very well taken at short fine leg. So that fielder, I would say, was there for a reason.
Yeah, that's good captaincy and good fielding from Devmi Vihanga. Sandeepani has picked up her second wicket. Just as they were beginning to build a small partnership, this pair, Baitlin has to go. So it's 41 for 4 after 6.5.
Take a look at that again. Went for that big sweep. Top edge. Tried to take it from more of an off-stump line. But I thought that was a good catch. Might have been unsighted just for a moment because it's coming from behind the wicket keeper. New Zealand lose their 4th. Tash gone for 15. It's 41 for 4.
Sachini Nisansala into the attack for Sri Lanka A. Left arm spin is what she will provide. Sri Lanka going about it with spinners. Starts with a wide one, but that's good batting by Catton. Picks up a single.
Now, interesting to see what the New Zealand batters' approach would be. That's the dismissal of the previous one. That is a good catch by the field, shot fine. Second wicket for the skipper.
Good delivery from Nisansala. So that seems to be the tactic for Sri Lanka. They've noticed that New Zealand are playing the sweep very well. So keeping the ball outside the off stump. Straighter on that occasion. A big appeal. Umpire Nimali Pereira unmoved.
Would have been missing leg stump, isn't it? That one was darted in more. There was no turn in it. It just kept on with its line and kept going on the onside. Let's take a look at that again. Yeah, that would have missed leg stump for sure.
Good bit of fielding close to the batter. Yeah, there's a bit of a cross breeze as well. So the ball going with that breeze towards the leg side of the batter. Easy decision for the umpire. Now the dot ball. So it's been a good over. 5 deliveries, just a single conceded.
Yeah, that breeze I did talk about during the pitch report, which goes from right to left, which comes in from the Ibanka to a lake. That's what the New Zealand batters have tried to exploit.
Superb finish to the over from Sachini Nisansala. So just a single off it. That's the end of the 8th over. New Zealand A, 42 for 4. So another change in the bowling for Sri Lanka is Sashini Gimhani coming into the attack. Now this is an interesting pick for this series, Kosala. Left arm wrist spin. It's not something we see very often in the international game.
It's not an easy art to it's not an easy art to really do it at a regular level. Even in the men's format, we don't see much of the left-arm wrist spinners, just a few to name. Starts off with a decent delivery.
That's nicely played on the offside. Well fielded on that occasion. Sanjana Kavindi in the deep. Just keeps it to 1. That's good fielding. Just on Sashini Gimhani. She has spent a lot of time with the national side as well. Rumesh Ratnayaka took her under his wing while he was coach. So she's got some experience. Straight delivery. Misses everything. The keeper not able to keep hold of it either. So that's a brilliant delivery from her.
Yeah, that is the wrong one. If you really look at it, that one spun the other way. The batter, Watkins, was not reading her from the out. Take a look at that again. There you go. That one was the one that slightly deviated. It beat the batter. It beat the keeper.
And there comes the challenge for a bowler who does bowl a bit unorthodox to keep control. She strays down the leg side with the next delivery. Doesn't cost her anything. But that is the challenge of bowling left arm wrist spin. It's not easy. Not an easy art to master. Down the track, Catton picks up another single. Oh, they've come back for 2 in fact. So that's brilliant running from the New Zealanders, putting the fielder under pressure. Rashmi Sewandi in the deep, not able to restrict them.
A little bit of lackadaisical fielding from the Sri Lankan side, just giving that opportunity to the New Zealand batters to think of a 2 and make it comfortably. Last ball coming up at this over. This has been a decent start for Gimhani. Oh, that should have been taken. That was hit right back at her like a tracer bullet, gun barrel straight, I would say. Let's take a look at this again. Tossed up delivery. That should have been taken. That should have been taken. No excuse. New Zealand women will bag a boundary, but Sri Lanka will be disappointed. That's the 3rd chance that they've let go within this short period. That marks the end of another over.
So disappointing from Sri Lanka's point of view. That previous over could have ended up with a wicket. Sachin Nisansala, after that brilliant first over, continues from the grandstand end. Once again, a big swing from Watkins, and in replay, she practices a shot on the offside.
You see, again, they're looking at that onside. Try to use the breeze.
Tossed up on that occasion. She goes over the top. Has that gone all the way, or is that a boundary? Boundary signaled by Nimali Pereira. So good bit of batting from Watkins.
Yeah, waited for that delivery, isn't it? See, that was given air. Picked it up. It was in the zone. Now, one thing I've seen from the New Zealand batters is they're not afraid to go aerial still. They will take any opportunity given towards them.
Outside edge on that occasion, goes straight to the fielder. Yes, to your point, Kosala, I think that might be the difference between these two sides, is that fear factor, isn't it? New Zealand not afraid to go over the top. They see the fielder in the circle, go after them. This time, fielder has stepped back to long off. Nisansala straying onto the pads, but does not pay the price. So another dot ball. What's happened there? She's missed her run-up, has she?
Yeah. Missing it on the run-up.
Bit short of a length from Sachin Nisansala. Running hard that first run, this New Zealand pair. The running has been very good. Not able to come back for 2.
Last ball coming up before the break. 55 for 4. Sachin is bowled decently well, except for that boundary in this over. She's been economical. Better, slower through the air. A dot ball will end over number 10. New Zealand electing to bat first. 55 for 4.
Well, I thought Sri Lanka did exceptionally well during the first 10 overs. Picked up 4 wickets, kept New Zealanders under tight leash. Run rate 5.5, and I have no doubt Sri Lankans will take that any day of the week. It's about pacing out the next 10 overs well enough as they may be hung up once again into the attack. Watkins on 6, 12 deliveries. Catton 16 of 17 deliveries. Looking good. You know, they're shaping up for a big finish. That's good bowling. Came off the pads, it seems. Let's wait for the umpire signal. Yes, came off the pads. They'll take that whichever way it comes.
Devmi, she was expensive in her first over, so she will definitely try and come back strongly in this over. But the New Zealanders, on the other hand, with 6 wickets in hand, they'll need to at least try to get to 130.
Not a full toss. Feeling the deep, got some work done outstanding to Will. Always very pleasing to see, giving 110% commitment that time. Sashini Gimhani. Very good to see. Covered a lot of ground, has to come around, sends in a good return. Sri Lankans, different energy levels today, which is exactly what we mentioned during that. Brilliant.
Wonderful work at the boundary.
Worked away, gets a single. Sri Lankans wouldn't mind conceding singles at this stage. Irana mentioned about Sri Lanka's energy levels going down during the latter part of their bowling inning again against New Zealanders during the third. One day conceded 40 runs more than they should, but today they've been very tight. Reverse sweep, gets it finer, should be a boundary. Innovation. Name of the game when it comes to T20s. Watkins perfectly got behind that one.
Going down on one knee, deciding to keep the textbook back home. Bringing out her own innovation, the reverse sweep. Managing to gather 4 important runs. They wouldn't really matter from which part of the ground. They get the runs as long as it comes.
Coming into this tour, New Zealanders, they must have done their homework. They knew for a fact they'll be up against high-quality spin bowlers. Good, strong comeback and dot ball to complete Devi Vihanga's second over. 7 runs off, fairly decent one. And after 11, 63 for 4. I'm thinking as long as Sri Lanka's not conceding 8, 9 runs and over, they should do well. Shamodi. That slider going on with the arm. Got no room, absolutely. Prue Catton likes a little bit of room outside the off stump.
She has improved a lot on her bowling, isn't it? She's using those variations, asking the questions from the batters.
Good footwork. Down to the pitch of the delivery, worked away and gets a single. This is the way to do it. When somebody, constantly hitting that nagging line at length, it's about you being proactive, coming down the track, using your feet. That reverse sweep was a perfect example. Once again, coming down the track, only a single. Shamodi, very miser.
Yeah, this is what the New Zealanders should be doing against Shamodi. They shouldn't try and do anything fancy against her. Every time she had been given the ball in hand, she has managed to get a breakthrough. So need to handle her with care.
Room outside the off stump, gets it through the infield. Wasn't a bad piece of bowling, but excellent footwork by the batter.
A lovely piece of placement by Karen. She has been there for some time. Look at that. Rocking on to the back foot. It was thrown outside the off stump. All the fielders inside the offside ring were protecting the single. They just had to get through the two fielders. The outfield would do the rest for you.
This time little fuller. She likes to open the face of the blade and get in order to get the placement towards that direction. Very tough to pierce that gap between cover and backward point fielder, or rather backward point and short third man. Straight to the fielder. Dot ball to complete another very good over, as we are looking at last 30 deliveries, yielding 28 runs. 12 done, 69 for 4. Batting so far for New Zealand A women. Not too many runs up at the top. Very clean 15. Was looking good for a while, but right now Catton, she is the mainstay. 24 runs off 24 deliveries. Ably supported by PJ Watkins. Not out on 11. Very important passage coming up.
Well, the New Zealanders have done well, especially after losing 4 wickets up front in short intervals. They have managed to get a decent partnership between these two batters.
Wow, what about that? Down the leg side, would have been a wide. Trying to go for a switch hit, missing it altogether.
Smart piece of bowling, realizing the batter trying to reverse sweeper. Fire it outside the leg stump.
Down the track and made solid connection. Fielder in the deep could do very little. That's a good shot. Conventional shot.
That's a fabulous hit from Watkins. Really showing clear intentions of going after the bowlers now. This is what I really enjoyed watching the New Zealand batters. Pure power placement to perfection. They really don't mind that they have lost the 4 wickets. It's all about ticking off the scoreboard at every single opportunity given.
Once again down the track, powerful drive down the ground for 4. How about that? Serious pressure. Shashini being predictable, bringing the ball in towards the right-hander rather. Watkins benefiting. Back-to-back boundaries.
Keeping aside the rains in Dambulla, it's currently boundaries which are raining over here. This is great piece of batting. Pushing the pressure right back at the bowlers. Couple of steps down the ground. Safest place that you could hit the cricket ball. Full value for your shots. This is brilliant.
Same intentions, this time straight to the bowler. I really like to see Shashini Gimhani getting one away from the right-handed batter. She's been a little more predictable. Just her delivery is skidding on towards you, making it all that easier for the batters. Down the track once again. Smashed it down the ground. Only a single this time.
It has been a decent partnership between these two batters. 38 runs of 37 deliveries. The important fact is that they have really understood how they need to see off the spinners. Most of them walking down the track to kill the spin early, getting to the pitch of the ball.
Another full toss. Gimhani managing to get away with that. Just a single. 10 runs off Gimhani's second rather, after 13.79 for 4. Bowling for Sri Lankans. Chamodi, excellent 3 overs, 18 for 2. Satya Sandeepan is skipper, picking up 2 important wickets, putting the brakes on New Zealand scoring. As a result, right now in control, but this partnership, growing into threatening proportions.
They'll need to break this partnership as soon as possible. That's what's important. But the New Zealanders, they have done a decent job to come out of where they were 30 minutes back.
Clean balled. Such an innings Ansala strikes. He's been operating really well, economical, creating pressure, finally reaping benefits. Pro Captain out for 25.
Well, you could call it commentator's curse though. It was just looking so good for the New Zealanders. And look at that for a delivery. Once again, dancing down the track. Bullseye. Sachini providing that breakthrough. Running through the gates of Rowe. She departs for a well-made 25. New Zealand are 79 for 5.
Just as I mentioned, New Zealanders, that threatening partnership is progressing. I mean, Sri Lanka striking. Here's Hannah Rowe. So much of experience. True all-rounder. Performed outstandingly well for Sri Lanka. Crucial stage. Performed for New Zealand, rather. Room outside the off stump worked away really nicely, but straight to the fielder. Dow on top of it. Took the opportunity, gets off the mark. I mean, this is the previous dismissal. Went on with the arm, played all over it, made a mess of it. Once again, reverse swept, finds a fielder. When it comes off, it looks spectacular. Too much of risk involved, but in contemporary cricket, it's a staple shot.
If they could get past that total of 130 runs, maybe, we're definitely going to have a very interesting game here.
Strikes again. Floated up. Just a bit of turn. Does the trick for Sachini. Picking up yet another wicket.
This is absolutely brilliant bowling. Realizing that Watkins, she was always looking to walk down the track. Now take a look at that. She really bowled it slow. The ball never arrived. She was a mile down. She had no chance of getting back. And easy glove work behind the stumps. But both batters who have spent out there some time in the middle have been dismissed. Watkins departs for 20. New Zealand 80 for 6.
Wicketkeeper gagging into the crease. Wouldn't have expected to walk in this soon. Sri Lankans realizing the importance of picking up wickets. Kate gagging done fantastically well with the gloves on. It's time for her to do something useful with bat in hand. Well bowled. Teasing delivery. Tossed it up in line with the stumps. Just a single. Taken 2 wickets. Just cannot ask for a better over at this stage. Little bit of room outside the off stump. And gets a single. Gets off the mark. Excellent over. 2 wickets taken after 14. 81 for 6. Worth having another look at the previous dismissal. Tossing it up. Short of a good length. Just a bit of turn. Does the trick. Take a look at it. Lovely piece of bowling. And the wicketkeeper had no troubles whatsoever. Looking at the way things panned out, Sri Lanka definitely got their noses in front. 6 more overs remaining. It's about getting it right. Satya Sandeepani back into the attack. 2 new batters. Very, very close. Just maybe going down the leg side by a few inches. Nothing more than that.
Once again, trying to get that reverse sweep out. Take a closer look at that again. Yeah. Straying down the leg side, missing the leg stump comfortably.
Another floater. Not too much of turn. Very deceiving. You don't have the right hand-eye coordination and the footwork to go with it. Handling a bowler like Satya Sandipani, very tricky business. Shorter. Worked away. Will they come back for the second? Excellent piece of fielding in the deep. Has to cover a lot of ground and sends in a good return. I really like the energy by Sri Lankan young girls down in the deep.
If you could take a closer look at the fielders, their body language has improved. They're feeling much more comfortable out there. They know they have it under control at this stage.
At this stage, Sri Lankans definitely wouldn't mind conceding a single. That's the part of the plan. 3 deep fielders, the backward square leg, deep mid-wicket and wide long on. Piercing that gap in the deep, not the easiest when you're bowling rather slowly, just like that. Right on top of the tram line. Excellent delivery, another dot ball. Very cunning operator, Satya Sandipani.
Yeah, being the skipper, leading from the front. Now take a closer look at that delivery. That was intentional.
Goes for a big one. It's in the gap. And pierced the deep field for a much needed boundary for the New Zealanders.
Yeah, that'll kind of break the shackles for the New Zealanders. Going down on one knee, sweeping it in front of square. The field at long on, running across. But that had a lot of power. Diving effort though at long on. There you go. Running across the turf. Valiant effort. Goes in vain though. Welcome boundary for New Zealanders to end over number 15.
Sachini will start a fresh over. 2 for 8 her previous figures. Again, giving it air. 87 for 6. New Zealand will be a little bit disappointed in the wickets column. They wouldn't mind the run rate. Rove and Ganging try to take them as deep as possible. That's what they will keep doing, perking the single. So I think New Zealand will be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, definitely. After winning the toss, we were looking at a score 150 plus. Can they get there is the question. Hannah Rowe, national cap, can use the long handle. Have some hitters in their lineup, but is 150 a target a bit too far?
That's what they'll do now. Milk the single around, try and bat as deep as possible. 150 to me now would look a little bit far off. They might be looking now something like 125 to 130. Sri Lankans have dominated this with spin. We haven't seen any fast bowler bowling. Now, was there a chance? We'll have to wait and see for that signal from the umpire. Yes, that was would go down as a missed chance.
Yeah, opportunity for Sumudu Nisansala behind the stumps on that occasion. Not the easiest when you get a thick outside edge, but puts it down.
That'll be called a wide. Trying to ask the batter to follow it. There you go. Going wide of the crease. Definitely a wide.
And Nisansala has been impressive so far in this spell. Hasn't really allowed the batters to get after her, has she? She's kept the ball on the off stump.
Good work Good bit of work of her own bowling. This is what they need, the commitment, Esther.
Yes, she's another one who spent a lot of time with the national squad. So a bit of that experience also is what she brings into this side.
Trying to use the switch hit. Doesn't come out effective. The 16th over comes to an end. It's 91 for 6. Mentioned that the Sri Lankans had dominated with spin. Actually, Rashmika just bowled us 1 or 2 overs. Changing the bowling again. Deumi comes in, none for 18. She's been there on the expensive side as the Sri Lankan bowlers are concerned. Oh, there's a shout, but maybe that was darting away, maybe pitching on the leg stump.
Yeah, here's another look at it. That's pitching outside the leg stump, isn't it? Difficult to get it pitching in line from that angle that she's bowling.
This is what these two will do, Rowe and Gagging. They will try to work the singles. Maybe the 18th and the 19th over the 20th, they will try to go big and try and get some runs for their bowlers to bowl at. That's poor. That's poor. Poor cricket all around. It is a bad ball, not been given the proper treatment by Gagging. Look at that again. Again attempting a switch hit. The bowlers have done pretty well off their own bowling to field the ball.
Yeah, they've done well to restrict the New Zealanders with their running between the wickets. Also some tight bowling, not really pitching the ball up. Batters not able to get under the ball. Deumi Vihanga, she's worked hard on her fielding.
The Sri Lankans wouldn't mind this. Singles being taken. Another one down the ground. Just the 3 singles of this over. One more to come. 94 for 6. Dot ball will end over number 17. New Zealand are 94 for 6. Chamudi 2 for 18 from her previous 3. Will finish off from the grandstand end. Starts off with a wide. Nimali standing in. She's got loads of experience. She's one of the, there you go. That's that previous delivery. She's got loads of experience. She's been there in the top helm. And again, the cross-batted shot, but only a single.
Not able to get her hand on that one. Chamudi Praboda. She's bowled well, bowled with the new ball today. Picked up a couple of wickets in that power play. Has taken on the responsibility quite well. Under 19 skipper for Sri Lanka.
So what do you think that New Zealand will look at from this point onwards? 125?
Yeah, has to be a total in that region, doesn't it? and they'll know Sri Lanka don't really have that many power hitters in their lineup. As I say that, sweep shot brought out once again, and it's found the boundary. So good result for New Zealand, eh?
Finding the sweet spot of the bat, isn't it? Yeah, she's been looking to try improvise, and this time, that was a good thump, isn't it? Just what the doctor ordered for the New Zealand batters. They will march along to the 100 mark with that boundary. Single on the onside. This is good cricket.
Yeah, just as I was saying about what kind of total New Zealand A will be looking for here. I think 125, 130 would be competitive. From Sri Lanka's point of view, given that they went for so many runs in that third ODI, they lost the toss here as well. They'll be happy if they're able to restrict New Zealand to around that 120 run mark. Single once again, Hannah Rowe picks up one to end the over. So it's 104 for 6 with 2 to go.
So there you go. These are the platforms that you can watch this game. Talent TV, Sri Lanka YouTube channel, Supreme TV, Pure TV, Dialogue TV, Supreme, Channel 12. There you go. Sporty.lk. Well, it's streamed and shown all around. Good for these young lads. Good opportunity. 19th over just commencing.
Now, Deomi Vihanga will be a bit disappointed with this performance. Hasn't picked up wickets so far. Sri Lanka A strike bowler beats the bat once again. Another reverse tried by Gagging. Another miss from her.
She's tried it very often, but not been effective in any of those attempts. This time goes straight and will pick up a boundary. Straight down the ground, gun barrel straight.
She missed out on that reverse sweep of the previous delivery. This time goes straight over the bowler's head to find the boundary. So Gagging just finding the boundary in every over, putting the Sri Lankans under pressure. Another play and a miss. She's really darting it in, isn't she, Deomi Vihanga?
Yeah, it's expected, isn't it? This is the 19th over in progress. Again, a big swing. It will find the boundary. Gagging is using the long handle to good effect. Vihanga will be disappointed. She's been the most expensive out of the Sri Lankan bowlers, the most experienced out of the lot, but being taken on here.
Yeah, this time finds the mid-wicket boundary. Gagging, as you said, Deomi Vihanga, experienced campaigner, has played a lot of under-19 cricket, represented the Sri Lankan senior team as well. Going for runs here. Brings out the paddle, and that's well fielded by Chamudi Praboda. Keeps it down to 1. So a good over for New Zealand. They've picked up 10 of the 19th. Deomi Vihanga finishes a spell 31 without a wicket. New Zealand won 14 for 6 after 19.
This is the New Zealand batting card so far. 25 a top score from Catton, 20 for Watking, and now 23 not unbeaten for Gagging, being the highlight of this innings so far. So the last over, about to start, and it's pace. If Rashmika, she bowled 2 overs for 12, wicketless. And she will want to finish off well here for the Sri Lankan A-team women. .23 from 21 for Gagging. She's been fine in the middle of the bat in the last over. Let's see whether she can continue in that form. Starts off with a very poor delivery.
You're just trying to keep it outside the off stump. Rashmika Sewandi knows that the New Zealand batters are looking to clear their legs, find the boundary on the leg side, but far too wide on that occasion. Gives away an extra. So 6 deliveries, 6 legal deliveries remain for New Zealand, eh?
Slower through there, and it's a miss. Again, she was deceived by the pace of that delivery.
Yeah, much better from Sewandi on that occasion. We spoke about what an opportunity this is for the youngsters. Rashmika is another one who has debuted for the national side. Here's her chance to prove her prowess in the death overs.
Another wide. She's looking for that off fourth stump line, but not getting it right. It's not easy bowling into the breeze, so she's bowling into the breeze.
It's the right idea, isn't it? To just keep it outside the off stump and tell the New Zealand batters to generate all the power. But you have to get it right every time. Once again, wide outside the off stump. This time, umpire Nimali Pereira is not moved. Oh no, there she goes. It's called a wide. So 3 wides so far in this over.
It's going to be a long over. Oh.
Umpire just taking a moment to check whether that's pitching outside the pitch.
This time there's bat on ball and into the gap, and that'll run away to the boundary. A diving effort can't prevent Gagling picking up another 4. New Zealand women throwing the kitchen sink at everything now.
Yeah, nothing to lose for Gagging. This time gets bat on ball. Right on that wide line, isn't it? Again. And it's gone down to the boundary. So they've got 7 runs of 2 deliveries so far in this over. It's turning out to be an expensive one for Sri Lanka.
This is poor cricket on part of the Sri Lankan women. You just cannot afford to give freebies at this stage, because you need to get them whatever you give. And that's enabled the New Zealand women to march on to 125. Take a look at this again. Big swing. But what a let off. What a let off.
Sanjana Kavindi, who's been good in the deep. It's just gone through her legs, hasn't it? Not good fielding.
What do you call that in Sinhala? Another big swing. But this time, another drop chance. This is very poor on the part of the Sri Lankan A women. That's about the 4th or 5th catch that's gone down.
Yeah, Satya Sandipani, the skipper, at long on, just seemed to be struggling to judge the trajectory of the ball. It's quite windy out there, but at this level, should be taking straightforward opportunities like that.
2 to go. Gagging a very useful 33 for the team. And it's come over. Take a look at this. That should have been taken. What really went wrong, I can't imagine. That would have been an easy catch. Dot ball. Last ball coming up of the New Zealand innings. 127 for 6.
Yeah, so they've got to that target we were talking about, 125, 130. And it's been Gagan who's done a lot of the work down the order. 47 of 37 this partnership. One delivery to go. Field being adjusted. So long off coming into the circle and square leg dropping to the deep.
Gagan goes downtown, but will only pick up a single. They're coming back for the second. Good running. Again, not good fielding. And New Zealand A women finish at 129 for 6.
Yeah, that was fantastic running from the New Zealand pair. You always knew they were going to come back for two, despite the ball going straight to the fielder in the deep. So excellent finish from them. That last over, going for plenty from Rashmika Sewandi. She won't be happy with the fielding. Catch goes down. A misfield costs her 4. Another misfield costs her another single. So not good work from Sri Lanka at the death. The pressure really telling on them.
How costly can those misfields be? That's the key. Those 7 runs additional that was given in the last over, how costly would that be at the end for the end result? That's what you need to realize. But the New Zealand batters quite happily making their way back, setting a Sri Lanka women a target of 130. This is the New Zealand batting card.
So Gagan, the top scorer with 35 of 27 runs. Big flourish at the end. Catton 25 of 26. Watkins looked to be dangerous, getting to 20 of 24. But it's been a reasonable performance from New Zealand. You can say it, 129 for 6 from 20 after winning the toss. They certainly would have been targeting a higher total. They end up setting a target of 130, which should be a challenge for the Sri Lankan team.
Yeah, this is the Sri Lankan bowling. 2 wickets apiece for Chamudi, Satya and Sachini. Others not getting him on the wickets. She was the disappointing factor, the most expensive out of the lot. And Rasika, I thought, bowled a decent last over but went for a couple. Gimani went wicketless. Well, this is how the New Zealand innings went about. Started off with a boundary. Then a lot of cross-batted shots, some to good effect, some were not that effective. And then they went pretty hard during the power play. The Sri Lankan fielding was not up to the mark. They also lost wickets at very regular intervals.
Yeah, that was the key to Sri Lanka's success. I think in this innings, they picked up wickets at regular intervals, because whenever the New Zealanders managed to put on a partnership, they looked very dangerous. Good take from Devmi Vihanga at short fine. That's another opportunity gone a begging. Sashini Kimani. Watkins brought out the reverse sweeps, the straight boundaries. She was looking dangerous out in the middle until she was dismissed. There you go. Big wicket for Sachini Nisansala. She was impressive, I thought, right throughout this innings. Bowled with good control. Been a part of the Sri Lankan national setup for a while, so brings that experience into this setup as well. That was the innings by Gagan down the order, finding the boundary at crucial times for New Zealand A. Misfield by Sanjana Kavindi, giving her that boundary in the final over. So 129 is what New Zealand finished with.
There you go. That's what the Sri Lankan A-team women need. 130 from 120 balls. We'll be back with you as soon as play resumes from Rangiri Dabula.
to the Rangiri Dambulla International Cricket Stadium. It's the first T20 game between Sri Lanka A women's and New Zealand A women's team. New Zealand A winning the toss, deciding to bat first. Yes, they got off to a kind of a wobbly start, but managing to put up a couple of partnerships in the middle. Kelton Watkins putting up a partnership. Then in the latter part, a 40-plus runs partnership for the 7th wicket. And they managed to get to 1-2-9 for 6 at the end of 20 overs. But look at the bowling card. Sachini Chamudi and Satya grabbing 2 wickets each. Chamudi was absolutely brilliant with the ball in hand. And Satya, 12 runs and 2 wickets. So the Sri Lankan opening batters, they'll be walking out to the middle to chase down a total of 130 runs from 120 deliveries. Joining me in the combox, Kosala. Looks a hot afternoon, Kosala.
Yeah, it's hot and humid for sure, but these players are used to this. It's how it normally prunes out. But the more important thing is Sri Lanka chasing down this 130. How will they get about it? How their approach would be? That's the key here.
Sanjana Kavindi, she'll be the key, in fact. Aggressive opening batter. She would love to go after the bowlers, especially during the power plays, but you can't keep aside Vishmi as well. She's very handy with the bat in hand. She can be very destructive, especially up during the power play. But this lady on screen, Sanjana Kavindi, she's someone to take a closer look at. She's definitely going to have the charge.
Well, interesting to see what the approach by the New Zealanders also would be. Because Sri Lankans went about with spin. New Zealanders will back their fast bowlers to come and deliver.
It'll be very crucial for the New Zealand opening bowlers to try and grab at least a couple of wickets during the power plays. Maybe try and restrict the Sri Lankans to 30 runs maybe. In the meantime, try and grab a couple of wickets, but more importantly, try and restrict the number of runs as much as possible. There you go, beautiful shot. Helped it on its way. Sanjana Kavindi, she starts off in style.
She's an aggressor instead. She will want to get about the... she's a player who really likes to get on with the game. Starts off with the boundary. Just a fraction on the onside, helping it away. Good awareness of where the field is set. And picks up a boundary. There we go. She knew that the fine leg was up in the circle. She only had to beat the infield.
Beautiful placement. That shows clear intentions of going after. Once again, throws the kitchen sink at it. Gets another boundary. It's raining boundaries in Dambulla.
Back-to-back boundaries for Kavindi. This is the way she plays about. Again, opening that front leg and getting more space to get it through that onside.
Immediately the feeling change coming up. You can see they're trying to follow the ball. The mid-wicket fielder going back to the boundary. It's going to be very interesting to see. She has given the message that she's going to go after every single delivery if it's in her arc. That's a beautiful delivery. And the finger goes up. Well, for a moment I thought whether it might be missing leg, but looks like the umpire decides that it's hitting the leg stumps, and that's the first wicket down.
Well, I felt that the only question and the doubt that might have had was whether it was pitching outside the leg. Let's take a look at this again. No, it's well within the line, and that would have crashed to mid-end leg. But the ball didn't do too much. It just held its line, Iran. And that's a good comeback for the New Zealand women. Sachin Kavindi departs for 8. Sri Lanka 8 for 1.
The new batter walks out to the middle. Vimoksha Balasuriya, another young talent for the Sri Lankan cricketing future. Plenty of runs under her name. And it's an important game, important stage. You walk in the very first over. Your opening batter, the aggressive batter, has been dismissed early. And you feel the pressure as the number 3 batter. Lovely delivery. Similar one to Sanjana Kavindi, but gets off the mark.
So you see Rose's line of attack is more on a middle and leg line. She grafts the back into the left-hander. So the onside is on. And also the invitation to try and go across the line. So it's a cat and mouse game. Vishmi Gunratna, she's got loads of experience. She's been with the national side. Opening the batting here. She's opened the batting for the national side as well.
Yeah, loads of experience, plenty of runs, plenty of occasions that she might have been in similar situations, losing her opening partner, especially used to open with the Sri Lankan skipper, Shamari Athapattu, who is another aggressive batter. Lovely delivery. Hint of movement away from the right-hand batter. Rowe coming back strong after the couple of boundaries.
Look at the shape she gets on that delivery. If you can have another look at that. This is the dismissal. Straightened down, and that would have crashed mid and leg for sure. Let's see how the finish would be. She tries to belt that one, but will end that first over. The Sri Lankan women at 9 for 1.
We're done with the first over. Plenty of actions though. Black has been introduced into the attack. 9 runs on the board. They'll need to keep the momentum. Emma Black.
Another right-arm medium bowler. She just has to go round the wicket now to Vimoksha. She's just got a single. She's just off the mark. Beautifully done. Through the offside. But there is protection. Just a single. Now, interesting around here is that the wicket keeper is standing up to the stumps for Black. So that gives an indication that she's not the express pace type of a delivery, bowler rather. But now the wicket keeper's gone back for the right-hander. Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? But more importantly, they would need to try and get another breakthrough. They would love to see Vishmi bat. Managed to grab the important wicket of Sanjana Kavindi. Half the job done during the power play, because she would have been very destructive. Bit of movement in towards the right-hand batter. Vishmi yet to get off the mark. She has tried playing some strokes. But more importantly, she will need to use all her experience at a situation like this. Once again, a feeling change being done. The deep mid-wicket fielder going back into the boundary. Fine leg being placed inside the 25-yard circle. Goes up and over mid-off. Couple of bounces and will roll over the ropes for 4 more runs. That's the cracking shot from Vishmi to break the shackles.
Yeah, she was looking for it. She was looking for a boundary. But this time manages to get a good part of the bat on it and goes over. told that Vishnu is just coming out of a wrist injury. Good comeback delivery. And also, if you really see Vishmi, how low she holds the bat, very bottom hand heavy grip she has. We really look very closely at her bat grip. So the indication is that she wants to go aerial at the beginning. We'll take a look at that very closely if we can. Let's take a look at, there you go. That's what I'm telling you. Very low down grip.
Beautiful delivery. That really kissed the outside edge. That came back sharply. Vishnu really not expecting that. But this is absolutely good bowling. Good comeback by Black. Into the second over. 14 runs on the board. Vishnu will need to play a part here. She will need to hang out there for a little bit. Couple of steps down the ground, goes over mid-on. One bounce into the boundary. This is fabulous from Vishmi Gunaratne. Putting the pressure back onto the bowler to finish the over in style. 9 runs coming off over number 2. Sri Lanka, 18 for 1. Right then, Jess Watkins, the skipper, she decides to take the ball in hand. The spinner. Oh, trying for a cheeky little shot. Vimoksha trying to go across the line.
Spin coming on very early. This is from the previous over. This is what Vishnu was trying to do. Look at that bottom hand heavy coming in. And this time, it's Vimoksha coming down the track. We'll get another boundary. So they're trying to use the maximum of the power play. They need to go at just a fraction over 6 runs and over. So we'll want to bring that required rate down at the end of the power play. Coming down the track. Just managing to get there and using the gap on the offside.
Intentions are clear. Once again, bringing out the broom, but not proper connection. There is protection down at deep scarleg and deep mid-wicket as well. Just the 1 run. So far, the 2 batters trying to be aggressive, not really minding that they have lost the wicket up front, and making sure that they're trying to get as much as possible runs during the power play.
King. 5 of 3, Vishmi is 8, Vimoksha is 7, Sri Lanka is 23 for 1. If you haven't heard, if you're just joining us on this coverage, we're live from the Rangiridambula International Cricket Stadium. This is the first of the 3 T20s between the New Zealand and Sri Lankan women's A teams. New Zealand won the toss, they elected to bat, they made 129 in 20 overs with a loss of 6. Sri Lanka in reply are currently 24 for 1 in 2.5 overs.
It has been a positive start by the Sri Lankan batters. Understanding the requirement, making sure that they're not letting any chance going on its merry way. The reverse sweeps, comes out, but straight into the basket. Off the field at short third man. The second nail on the coffin, Jess Watkins delivers with the ball in hand. Vimoksha trying to sweep. The intentions were clear, but unfortunately the execution not right.
Sri Lanka lose their second. Vimoksha Balas already passed to 7. It's 24 for 2. It's almost a runner ball affair where the Sri Lankan women are concerned. New batsman is the skipper. So it's skipper to skipper. Slight turn. This would be expected as the game goes on. That's the end of over number 3. Sri Lanka. That is the fall of the wicket. Straight into the hands. Premeditated shot, but not effective.
Well, they have the scoring rate under control. Currently scoring at 8 runs per over. There you go, the required run rate 6.24. It has been a bag of mix so far. $106 more runs. In fact, make it 105.
25 for none. Lot will depend on this pair run. Satya and Vishmi, the 2 experienced campaigners in this side. What their intent might now be to try and bat till about the 8th over to assess the situation from that point onwards. Oh, that will get them runs, but just a single. The skipper will start her account. Vishmi. What does she do here? Good. Slower delivery. But that's good cricket. Just tapping it and running.
Blackshear has been very impressive with the ball in hand. Even during the one days, grabbing 2 wickets each in 2 games. She has been in good form. Plays for Otago Women back in New Zealand. 24 years of age. Plenty of experience back home in New Zealand. So she will try and bring all of her experience into this game as well. Oh, trying to play across the line. That was very close to the stumps. A risky option by the skipper.
Pace off. Pace off. Very lucky. Now, Black reminds me of a bowler in the caliber of Gavin Larson that New Zealand had. Similar type of bowler. It runs in but doesn't bowl that express pace. The keepers stand up to her. Now, it's a fair delivery.
Go to side on angle.
Gone upstairs, I suppose.
Take it back. At the back, take it back. Okay, keep frame by frame, please. Take it back, director. Just frame by frame, please. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, frame by frame. Okay. Process. Okay. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Can I have the other angle, please? Opposite angle. Can I have the opposite angle? Yeah, okay, satisfied.
Touch and go, isn't it, Iran? So they're just managing to get a fit in. Better. They'll have to do that for a couple of overs, Iran, just to reassess the game or stable it up.
Yeah, they will need to try and work around the singles, look for those twos, keep ticking off the scoreboard, and look for those loose deliveries where you can put them away. But these two batters, as you did mention, Kosala, the two experienced campaigners for the Sri Lankan team, they need to hang out there. Oh, beautiful movement. She's getting a lot of inward movements towards the right-hand batter. 4 overs done, 29 for 2. .29 runs on the board, chasing down a target of 130 runs. Roy will continue 1 for 9. She has been very effective with a new ball in hand. Caught the big fish, Sanjana Kavindi. Beautiful delivery once again. Right in line with the stumps.
Yeah, she's been bowling wicket to wicket. She went for 2 boundaries in the first 2 deliveries, but then made a very good comeback. There you go again. Tall, fast bowler for New Zealand. And this time Vishmi decides to go aerial. Doesn't really middle it, but that will have enough to beat the fielder to the boundary. Sri Lanka will take it nevertheless. So will Vishmi. 33, and Vishmi will move on to 15.
Once again, the bat probably rolling over the last minute, but still she had enough power on that. The intentions were clear to go over the infield, opting to select the safer option. The ball had enough legs. Vishmi, she has decided that she is going to continue on a merry way, 15 of 12. Oh, surprised. Good short delivery, good comeback by Roy, good answer.
Yeah. But for a moment, I felt that Vishmi had intentions of having a go at that. Rose played her last ODI in 2025. Made a debut in 2017. So she's got loads of experience, isn't it? She might have played in a lot of franchise cricket, a lot of leagues. She will use all that experience in these hot and humid conditions. The Women's World Cup starts in June in UK. It's a 50 over T20 World Cup. Vishmi advances down the track, but only will get a single. Was looking to throw the kitchen sink at that one.
Smart piece of bowling by Roy. Slowing it down at the very last minute, realizing Vishmi trying to go downtown. That's what experience could do. Just debuted back in 2015 in T20s. There you go. Nicely adjusted herself as well, Vishmi. Just working it around for a single. Oh, that was a surprise delivery. Satya had no idea. 5 runs coming off that. 5 overs done. 34 for 2.
So that's the story so far from the Sri Lankan batters. 34 for 2 after 5 overs. Chasing 130 at the Rangiri Dambulu International Cricket Stadium. New Zealand skipper Jess Watkin into the attack now. Got to say, Vishmi Gunaratne probably the key in this chase. She's got 16 or 15, so she's got a start. Play and a miss on that occasion.
Right now, she's the mainstay, having scored 16 runs, timely boundaries. And Sri Lanka, though maintaining a good run rate, lost, I thought, a couple of wickets.
This pair has had a couple of close shaves running between the wickets. That occasion, once again, interesting to see what would have happened if there was a direct hit.
Vishmi obviously quite brisk between the sticks. That was very, very close. Direct hit would have certainly had Satya Sandeepani under huge trouble.
Down the track, Vishmi Gunaratne, and that's timed to perfection. She's found the boundary right behind the bowler's head.
Not too many runs during the one-dayers. She looks determined. World Cup coming up. It's so important, Vishmi getting among the runs. That was right underneath her eyes.
As you mentioned, Damika, the World Cup coming up. She wants to make a mark here. Get into that squad. Dot ball once again from Watkins. So good comeback from her.
What I like about Vishmi today, trying to get busy. Comparison, at this stage, New Zealanders have lost an extra wicket.
Worked on the leg side once again. No single here. Interesting to see, Damika, that New Zealand are using the opposite tactic to what Sri Lanka did. Sri Lanka tried to keep the ball outside the off stump, not give the opportunity to go over the leg side boundary. New Zealand going the other way. Bowling stump to stump.
Very interesting tactics. A dot ball to complete. Just Watkins second after 6:38 for 2.
So another change in the bowling. Bella Armstrong coming into the attack. Saw Sri Lanka using a lot of spin in their bowling innings as well. Just the 3 overs from Rashmika Sewandi, the medium pacer. New Zealand have a few more options of medium pace. Another dot ball to start.
Bella Armstrong, fresh after her hat-trick heroics during the third one-day, batted so well, half-century, high on confidence. Satya Sandeepani, not too many contributions during the one-day. This is the time for her to shine. Coming down the track, getting straight back past the bowler, and luckily away from the fielder, gets all the way for 4.
Satya Sandeepani taking on the medium pacer, goes over the top, straight behind the bowler. A valiant attempt in the deep, but the fielder had long on, just not able to close in on that catch. Would have been a fantastic take if she was able to get to it.
Sort of sliced it. Instead of distance, got only the height. She was lucky on that count. Excellent effort, just as you mentioned, by the fielder.
Yeah, Sri Lanka were not good in the field, didn't take a few opportunities that came their way. New Zealand, so far, haven't given that many opportunities. So Armstrong's over, gone for 5 runs already of 3 deliveries. Vishmi Gunaratne getting strike for the first time in this over. Now, Bella Armstrong is listed as a medium pacer, but she seems to be rolling her fingers over, bowling a bit of off spin.
Case of races, horses for races, courses rather. I mean, slowed it down, hit in line with the stump, but the turn taking it down the leg side.
Yeah, Gunaratne just trying to put the bowler under a bit of pressure, trying to get her to change her lines and lengths coming down the track. So it's been a good over so far from Armstrong. This time outside the off stump and a single to finish the 7th over. Sri Lanka now 44 for 2. So another change of bowling. Black back into the attack. 6.29 the current run rate. So Sri Lanka keeping up with what is required. That's worked well onto the leg side. Running the first one fast, but not able to pick up a second.
Largely thanks to Vishmi Gunaratne, 22 of 25. She looks solid. Partnership is developing 21 runs. Satya Sandipani looks to be aggressive, looks to be proactive. A couple of boundaries. Not a strong hitter by any means, sort of a timer. Down the leg side. An extra to the total. Sri Lankans definitely wouldn't mind.
Yeah, New Zealand need to be tight when it comes to the discipline, the lines and length. Cannot afford to give away extras to the Sri Lankan side. Defending just 130. Sandipani trying to work it on the offside. There is no fielder in the deep. Fine on the offside. Just trying to find a little bit of bat. Not able to do so.
Just as you saw a moment ago, in comparison, Sri Lankans were ahead of the game at this time. New Zealanders were in a spot of bother at this stage, having lost 4 wickets. Going for a wild hoik, not a convincing one.
Satya Sandipani trying to get things going, doesn't want to get bogged down, but that's good cricket from Vishmi Gunaratne. Might be the younger partner in this partnership, but certainly the more experienced. She walks up to Sandipani, just has a chat. My assumption would be what she was saying is just take it slowly. We've got plenty of overs remaining. This time plays it on the offside. They pick up a quick single. That's good cricket.
Well reacted by Vishnu Gunaratne. Well responded. She is very quick between the sticks. Athlete. Just about keep doing the same. Boundaries, odd boundaries will obviously come. Just about maintaining the momentum right now. As long as they keep wickets in hand, they should be the team to go on to win this game.
From New Zealand's point of view, they'll know Vishmi Gunaratne is the key wicket. She's the experienced campaigner here. Has represented Sri Lanka for quite a few years now. So she's got the temperament, she's got the experience to take the hosts home. So New Zealand will be targeting that wicket. I believe that is a reason that Black has come back into the attack, just to put her under a bit of pressure. Last delivery of the over. Swung on to the leg side. Hannah Rowe does the cleaning up at long on. So just a single once again. Decent over from Black. Sri Lanka 48 for 2 after 8. So that's the worm of the two innings. New Zealand, as you said, Dhamika, were in a spot of bother at about this time in the innings. Picked it up later on, gagging, doing the work with the bat. Now the change of bowling. 19 to the attack. More medium pace. So it's obviously something that New Zealand have identified about this pair. Kaylee Knight, right arm medium to Vishmi Gunaratne. Short on that occasion. Vishmi tries the pull, not able to get it past the fielder at short mid-wicket.
Knight is a very smart bowler. Done outstandingly well during that third one-day, if I'm not mistaken, picked up 2, maybe 3 wickets. Stemmed the flow of runs. Never predictable. That's her trademark. Short of a length. Good bumper.
Once again, short of a length. This time, Gunaratne gets all of it. And she's found the boundary. So much needed boundary for Sri Lanka. Seemed to be getting a bit bogged down, but Knight dropping it short. Vishmi Gunaratne quick onto that one.
Well anticipated, latches onto that. So much power behind that one. Into the deep. And fielding the deep had no opportunity whatsoever. Much needed boundary. Boundaries will definitely keep Sri Lanka afloat.
And she picks up a single right away after that boundary. So good cricket. 3 deliveries in this over so far. They've already got 5 runs. So keeping up with that required run rate.
I really like the fact Vishnu Gunaratne always on the lookout to pick up a single. Yes, those deliveries will be on offer from time to time. She is quite capable of utilizing them.
Down the leg side, Knight just losing her line. Wide call by umpire. Yes, Dhamika, as you said, Vishmi Gunaratne always on the lookout for runs. Now Satya Sandipani, her role is to just turn over the strike. Give Vishmi Gunaratne as many of the deliveries as possible. Let her make all the runs. You just stick around with her. Defensively played on that occasion.
Starting to sense that Satya Sandipani just maybe trying to hit it too hard. Probably sent in with a message to go out there, get quick runs, take Vishmi Gunaratne, no pressure. I mean, just as you mentioned, sorry to interrupt you, and in line with the stumps, played all over it. The mistake was she approached that delivery with an aggressive mindset. So losing the shape of that shot, played all over it, she perishes.
Yeah, we were talking about how her role in this partnership is to just keep the runs ticking over, give the strike over to Vishmi Gunaratne. Not successful. So Sandeepani, not a very comfortable stay out there in the middle. She's gone for 9. Sri Lanka now 54 for 3. Sumudu Nisansala into bat. Just very impressive in that first ODI. One day between these two sides, wicket keeper batter. That's another wide from Knight. So she's straight down the leg side twice in this over. Just on Sumudu Nisansala. She did show in that innings where she got a half century that she's good on the short of the length deliveries, good on the leg side. So that is one area that New Zealand will be thinking about as well. That's that wide once again, way down the leg side. Short on that occasion, but defensively played. So a successful over for New Zealand despite conceding 7 runs. Sri Lanka 55 for 3 after 9. That's the story for so far for Sri Lanka 55 for 3. Vishmi Gunaratne, the top scorer, 27 of 30. Not a single other batter able to get to double figures yet. So we've been talking about how important Gunaratne is. She's proved it so far, 27 of 30. Black into her last over. Big shout, big shout, and it's given by umpire Nimali Pereira. Just as we were talking about the importance of Gunaratne, she's been trapped right in front, and Jess Watkin, her decision to bring back Black into the attack has paid off.
You said it right. Black enjoys picking up wickets. Straight in line with the stumps. Very promising inning comes to an end. She batted so well, just maybe played all over it. Very close one.
So Vishmi Gunaratne, 27 of 31 deliveries. She has to do the long walk back to the dugout. Sri Lanka 55 for 4 after 9.1. And I think the teams will be taking a short break. Hanga comes to the crease, so now she's going to have to take on that mantle of being the key player in this chase.
With her experience, as you rightly mentioned, she should be the one take things under control for Sri Lanka. Things getting out of hand with the dismissal of Vishmi Gunaratne, 4 down for 54. Bit of a muddle they are in at the moment.
Quick single. Somuduni Sansala just getting an outside edge. Thought on the captaincy as well. Very aggressive captaincy, and it's nice to see that they haven't just stuck to spin because Sri Lanka did. They've tried their options. Medium pacers bringing success for them.
Absolutely. Knight and black done exceedingly well for them against the run of play.
A whip onto the leg side from Deumi. Finds the fielder in the deep. So she's got going immediately, 2 off 2.
Sri Lanka badly needing a partnership. A partnership of around 40, maybe 50. Better, bigger the partnership, better it is for the Sri Lankans.
Yes, certainly for Sri Lanka they'll be looking for partnerships. New Zealand on the other hand, if you look at the field, they brought in the fielders on the offside, trying to put the horse under pressure. That's what these series are all about, isn't it, Damika? Young players, they're the second in line to make it to the national squads. Just learning different conditions, how to adapt, and I feel New Zealand has done a brilliant job so far. Outside the off stump, Nisansala not able to find the gap. But unfortunately, they've conceded an overthrow of a direct hit. Now, how unlucky is that?
We'll have another look. They've been a little erratic on that occasion. 10 done, 59 for 4. Here's another look. Push it away. I thought she fielded really well. She was in. So, no miscommunications. After 10, 59 for 4. Lovely hands. Neatly worked away and gets a single. Sumudu Nisansala batted exceedingly well during the first one day when Sri Lanka needed the most. Once again, Devi Vihanga, just 20 plus, having played so well. This is her opportunity. Couple of good innings for her. Never really went on to make a winning contribution, telling contribution. Around once again joining alongside me.
Yeah, she's a very capable batter, Damika. We did see what she could do and how far she could hit the ball during the one-day games. Oh, good delivery. Knight, she was impressive during the one-days as well. And no doubt that she has managed to grab a wicket for 7 runs and into a second over. Looks like Sri Lanka a little bit on the back foot at this stage.
You said it right. Wickets, that's going to be the key, and Vishmi Gunaratne were controlling things really nicely out there in the middle. Her dismissal, big scalp. Worked away really neatly and goes all the way for 4. Much needed boundary. Devi Vihanga got a finer. That was the key.
And nicely helped it on its way. 66 more runs required. But every run would be golden dust for Sri Lanka from this moment onwards, because they had 4 wickets down. But don't forget that the New Zealanders were 4 wickets down as well at the same stage. The important fact is they managed to put a couple of partnerships. So that's what the New Zealanders, in fact the Sri Lankans, should try as well. That was a good delivery. Got the outside edge, but great piece of fielding.
Commitment. Had it got behind her, would have been a certain boundary. She knew it. Dive onto her left, prevented what would have been a certain boundary. 65 runs required of 56 deliveries. Manageable. Just about keeping enough wickets in hand. That's nice. She always presents that broad, straight bat. Another youngster, very promising. That half century, she demonstrated what she's really capable of.
In fact, they are very much capable players, plenty of experience behind their names. They have been in similar situations, but it's very important, especially with the T20 World Cup knocking doors.
Down the leg side, must have brushed something. That's the reason why umpire Deepal Gunawardena not given that one a wide. So fairly decent over for the Sri Lanka's boundary taken after 11, 65 for no loss. Sri Lanka have as many as 6 wickets in hand, but not too much of experience. After these duo, Rashmika Sewandi, who's capable, P.V. Vatsala, who's capable, so they're badly needing a partnership. Armstrong try to whip that one away, perhaps a little too hard.
Yeah, that's where it all will depend. The experience behind these players handling the situation. Once again, bringing the broom out, trying to go down on one knee, but getting a little bit of extra bounce, hitting it on the helmet. Probably the umpires might want to have a quick look. Usually, that's how the protocol is. You get hit on your head, no matter how slow or how hard you got hit. You need to go through that concussion test.
It's an ideal opportunity for the fielders to take a breather, have a bit of a discussion, as well as 2 batters. Looking at the way things panned out, Sri Lanka cut away half the deficit, needing just 65 runs. They have 6 wickets, and required run rate isn't threatening. So just about maintaining the same run rate. There will be loose stuff on offer. So if Sri Lanka do that, they will be. That's the first wicket. Youngster didn't stay long. Going for innovation and made a mess of it. Straight a delivery, and that's the latest scalp. Bishmi Gunaratne batted so well.
Right, then we are back in action. Demi already 65 runs on the board, halfway stage for Sri Lanka. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Just kissing the outside edge. Armstrong, she's bringing her form back into the T20s. She was fabulous in that final one day.
65 for 4. This time. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. A very rare miss from the New Zealanders. But Sri Lanka will take it. That was given a thump. Just look at that. Oh. What do you call that in Sinhala? Deumi. She can pack a punch, but this lot will depend on these two. Sri Lanka needs almost half of these runs. They need another 61 runs to win. It's not easy. 8 overs remaining after that. The New Zealanders have come back very well into this game. Oh, it keeps happening, isn't it? It just keeps happening. Another let off. It's been a cardinal of errors here.
It's really disappointing. Not the kind of way that New Zealanders would have wanted to end that over. 12 overs done, 71 for 4. Beautiful delivery. Almost yoking. Chance of a run out, but misses it altogether. Armstrong into a third over. In fact, Rowe into a third over. She's managed to grab that important wicket. Take a closer look at it again. Just a step or two down the track. Got herself yoked.
Good. Very good stuff from Rowe here. She's really causing a few problems for the Sri Lankan batters. Deomi and Nisansala not really been able to read her off the hand. There you go. That's another slower delivery. Missing leg.
Yeah, this is very good from the New Zealanders. They really pull things back. There you go. Some spectators enjoying the sunburn. This is good. Good to see a few spectators walking out here to enjoy this game. Supporting, probably New Zealanders maybe, supporting their team. There you go.
Yeah, maybe parents, siblings, family.
Umpire says one for the over. Rowe using a height to get that bounce off the surface. 17-run partnership so far for the 5th wicket. 21 deliveries. A few selfies. Some fancy photos. Collecting memories. Enjoying the moment. Good to see them. At the moment, the Sri Lankans are happy to do it with singles, but the New Zealanders, they wouldn't really mind giving away singles at this stage with the run rate piling up. 6 wickets in hand. Probably these two batters spend another couple of overs, get to the 15th over, maybe 85 runs on board, then try to put the foot on the accelerator. Goes for a wild swing. Gets an inside edge. Will be just the 1 run. 3 runs coming off that over. 13 overs done, 74 for 4. There you go, the New Zealand support staff enjoying themselves. Goes for a reverse sweep. Probably did too much. Skidding off the surface. Nifansala 10 deliveries for 5 runs. Struggling out there in the middle a little bit. They'll need to rotate the strike very often. They can't afford to keep themselves hanged out there. There you go. A bit of turn on offer. And that's going to be very interesting. Quick single. Fumble. A clear throw at the non-striker's end would have been very interesting.
75 for 4. This partnership is now worth 20. Germany has been done the bulk of the scoring. This answer has given her good support. Down the track. That's up in the air, and that will be taken. Watkins holds on to a comfortable catch. Sri Lanka lose their 5th and fall further into trouble. Trying to clear the infield. Deomi only succeeds in holding out to long off, to mid off.
Well, disappointing end to her innings. This is what dot balls could do. On the other end, there were plenty of dot balls, but trying to clear that field at mid-off. Comfortable catch. In fact, catching practice, you could call it. Is it the final hope for the Sri Lankan team that's departing? Deomi departs for 14 off 16. Sri Lanka 75 for 5. The new batter walks out to the middle, Pumi Vatsala. Another talented player, but the situation is kind of different from what she would have liked to be out there in the middle. Sri Lanka on the back foot at this stage, 75 for 5, chasing a target of 130. But the New Zealanders, they have been absolutely brilliant with the ball in hand. They have kept things simple, nothing fancy, just sticking to the basics. Once again, it has been a productive over. Couple of runs and a wicket.
New batter is Pumi. Sri Lanka doesn't have the real big hitting batters that really can take the boundaries on. So they have to work on that single, get the ones and twos.
.78 runs on the board for the loss of 5 wickets. We're talking about the big hitters. I can just think of a couple of players in the Sri Lankan team. Sanjana Kawindi, one of them, was very destructive up in the order. And then Deomi, who was just dismissed. She can use the long handle as well. It's all about building a partnership now between these two batters. Opens up. Tries to pierce the offside field, but there is protection. New Zealanders, they'll be very happy to concede singles for the Sri Lankan batters as long as they do not concede a boundary or a six.
Might have been an inside edge. They were very close. Oh, and he's gone, in fact. Sorry, ball. Oh, she's clean bowled, in fact. Knight picks up her second. Sri Lanka lose Nisansala for 7. Take a look at that. Trying to go across the line, and that castle into the stumps of her pad. And New Zealanders on a high here. They picked up their 6th wicket, the Sri Lankan 6th wicket. Nisansala departs for 7, 79 for 6.
Well, the new batter walks out to the middle, Rashmika Sewandi. Well, she's very handy with the batter as well. But I'm just wondering whether it'll be too much to ask from her. But playing in this level, nothing's too much. You need to try your best, but all credits to the New Zealand bowlers. They have been fabulous throughout the day. A couple of missed opportunities on field, but not catchers though. Beautiful stroke, the very first delivery, a full toss, and put away. She'll open her account with a boundary.
Gives a little glimpse of hopes, no? Isn't it? To show that everybody can use the bat, can be useful with the bat.
A lovely stroke. Not the ideal delivery for a batter who has just walked out. She would love to have it on a big velo. Just the one fielder on the offside field around the cover boundary. Oh, cuts and fails to contact. Rashmika Sewandi. She would be the last hope in fact. She's a very aggressive batter though. She can use the long handle. There you go, trying to play across the line for a delivery that was not too short. It was just a matter of time, I believe. She was struggling there out in the middle, Nisansala. Oh, misses it. Well, well, well. Now how costly that's going to be. Straight into the hands of the fielder at back for the point. Knight would be disappointed. She would have had her third. Let's take a closer look at that again. Yes, that was slapped. But that was a catch. That should have been taken. It completes over number 15. 84 for 6.
Here's the equation. 46 of 30 deliveries. Had Sri Lanka lost 2 wickets less, things would have been even easier. But losing wickets regularly has been the problem, has been the issue for the Sri Lankans. As Estelle once again joining alongside me. Knight, she likes picking up wicket, isn't it?
Yeah, she's kept it simple. She's just bowled wicket to wicket.
Rashmika already picked up a boundary. She got the energy. Nice bat swing. Has scored quick runs. Useful 50s. Slower through the air. Worked away and gets a single.
Yeah, with nearly 9 runs and over required. That's good running. Good running. Big appeal. And he's referred it to the third umpire.
TV umpire to director. We have a referral for a run out at the wicket keeper's end. Side on angle, please. Yeah, bat is grounded inside the popping crease when the wicket is broken. Satisfied. I have a decision for the
So the batter safe on that occasion. Rashmika Sewandi picking up 2. So I was saying, with nearly 10 runs and over required, where are the boundaries going to come for Sri Lanka? She's gone over the top, cleared the field on the offside, and it's found the boundary. You've got to say, a poor bit of fielding on that occasion from the fielder at mid-off. Ball flies over, short extra. But that fielder at mid-off just running all around it, not able to catch up with it in the end, and it's run down to the boundary. So Sewandi, from the moment she's come in, now twice she's managed to find the boundary for Sri Lanka A.
Quite often taking the aerial route. That was a much needed boundary for the Sri Lankans. Gets another single. 2 youngsters given a huge responsibility. Required run rate above 9, which means they got to pick up boundaries as often as possible. At least 2 boundaries per over. Looking at the way things panned out right now, 5.81 is the run rate.
Yes, 7 of these over so far. So they've done reasonably well. 2 deliveries remaining. What can Bhumi Vatsala do?
Short of a length, worked away really nicely. Gets another single. That'll do it. Excellent over so far. They picked up 8 runs with a delivery to come. Rashmika on 12. Just taken her 7 deliveries. Bhumi very intelligently taking Rashmika on strike.
Yeah, from New Zealand's point of view, they know even 9 runs and over is just exactly what's required and not an expensive over from their point of view. So 9 exactly conceded in this one by the skipper Watkin. That's the end of the over. Sri Lanka 93 for 6.
It's getting closer and closer. 37 of 24. They have just 4 wickets in hand. Largely inexperienced batters down the line. That has been the issue. They lost wickets regularly. Now, few partnerships, not sizable ones. This young lady, however, very smart. This is Knight's final over. Done fabulously well during the 3rd one-dayer. She continues to do the good work. 2 for 18. Rashmika, meanwhile, looking for quick runs. Very, very close. Came off the inside edge, it seems. We'll have to wait for the umpire's signal.
Yeah, umpire unmoved on that occasion. A big appeal from the New Zealanders. Let's have a look at it. Looks to be just tipping down the leg side. Closer than you initially thought.
Partnership is developing. 15 runs of 10. Much needed one. Sri Lanka getting closer and closer. Knight very steady. Giving herself too much room outside the off stump.
Bhumi Vatsala, another Sri Lankan batter who has represented the national side in the recent past, in the last year or so. Another player who wants to make a big impression in this series. Hasn't been able to do much with the bat. Hasn't been bowling much either.
Swatted away. Like a tennis forehand smash towards deep backward square leg and gets a single.
Yeah, we were talking about how New Zealand will know that even conceding 9 isn't too expensive for them. 9 off the previous over, just the 2 off the first 3 deliveries of this one, and already the required rate has climbed up to 10 runs and over. So they've done well, they've handled the pressure well. 3 deliveries left in this spell from Knight.
Way outside the off stump. Sri Lanka definitely wouldn't mind how it comes. You know, you and I of spoken about experienced players like P.B. Vatsala, Satya Sandeepani, not taking up the responsibility of taking the lead role. I mean, they should be the ones who are standing up when they are under pressure. Well connected into the deep, fielder. Cut that one off, just a single.
You've got to also say that the way Jess Watkins has handled her bowling changes, the fielding positions, and the way the bowlers have answered the call, they've bowled good lines and lengths. They haven't tried too many things, tried too many different tactics. They've kept the ball at the stumps, and it's gotten them the results.
You're absolutely right. This young lady on your screen, perfect example. Just bowling back of the length stuff. A misfield, just tickles over, should be a boundary. Sri Lanka, they definitely wouldn't mind how it comes. Initially, the fielder thought she had enough time, but not to be. Sri Lanka gets another boundary.
Now that's a poor bit of fielding by both fielders, you've got to say. Vatsala makes room, gets it to mid-on. A misfield there. And Jess Watkins in the chase, just not able to reel it in. She probably should have. So lucky boundary for Sri Lanka.
Go straight. Oh, would have been curtains, isn't it? Initially, they weren't communicating all that well, but Rashmika, she got the pace, got to the other end, completes another very good over, a few runs off, 17 done, 102 for 6. It's getting closer and closer. 28 needed of 18 deliveries. They have 4 wickets. 2 batters out there in the middle. Rashmika Sivwandi, P.B. Vatsala pressing the accelerator. That previous misfield serving Sri Lanka so well. They were searching for boundary. 2 batters were under pressure.
We were talking about the Sri Lankan fielding in that last over. How misfield and a dropped catch cost them 7 runs. New Zealand, in the last 4 or 5 overs, they've had a couple of misfields that have gone for boundaries. So how costly is that going to prove at the end of the day?
Better connection towards mid-wicket region, should only be a single. Yes, I thought Sri Lanka's catching, there's an issue. They lost, they dropped few catches during the final one day, and today, very first delivery, they should have picked up a wicket, dropped a catch, and never setting the right tone towards the latter part. They also dropped few catches. That's the reason why New Zealanders managed to go close to 130. Otherwise, Sri Lanka definitely had the opportunity of keeping them close to 110, maybe less than that. But that's cricket. Down the track. Not too much of power came off the inner part of the bat.
Yeah, good running. They have to make sure they get at least a single of every delivery that they face. So it's straight to the fielder at mid-off. But Rashmika Sewandi, she's quick between the wickets. The comparison, New Zealand 96 for 6 at the same point. So Sri Lanka slightly ahead.
Should have been taken. Not too much of power, but Armstrong not being able to take that one. We certainly wouldn't mind having another look. Came off the inner part of the bat.
Yeah, plenty of action with that delivery, isn't it? P.B. Vatsala coming down the track, blasting it straight to the bowler. Pella Armstrong gets hands onto it, but unable to hold on. And then the fielder with a direct hit at the non-striker's end.
Goes aerial over extra cover region, clears the infield. Rashmika gets a vital boundary. That's a good shot. Fabulous shot.
Rashmika Sewandi, she's making up for that poor last over that she bowled. Conceded 3 wides there. She's got 3 boundaries to her name. Really given some energy to this Sri Lankan innings. Going over mid-off. Finding the boundary once again. A much needed one for Sri Lanka.
They were searching for one big over. Less than 3 overs remaining. Coming down the track. Goes all the way for 6. Over the fielder's head. Hannah Rowe, very tall fielder, had no chance, absolutely.
You were talking about a big over. Well, this one has conceded 13 of 5 deliveries. Hannah Rowe, the tallest fielder out on the field right now, just not able to reel it in. So Rashmika Sewandi playing a little bit of a gem right here. 3 fours and a 6 to her name so far.
This time misses. Just maybe try to hit it too hard. Excellent over nevertheless. 13 runs off after 18. Sri Lanka 115 for 6. This should be straightforward. They have 4 wickets in hand and Rashmika looks great. 15 of 12. Crucial passage of play. Which way it goes, we'll find answers soon enough.
Looks straightforward on paper, but I can tell you it's probably very, very nervy out there. You've got Piyumi Vatsala, Rashmika Sewandi for Sri Lanka's advantage. 2 players who have played international cricket at the highest level. So there is that bit of experience they will bring in. But for New Zealand, they've got Hannah Rowe as well, another international.
She is very clever. Clever variations, good short pitch delivery. Never predictable. Smashes away. Will they come back for the second? Just a single. Initially thought she managed to pierce the infield straight to the fielder. They somehow managing the second run.
Now that is once again poor cricket from New Zealand. The fielding has just not been up to the mark. They haven't put down that many catches, but the ground fielding has been poor. Overthrows once again costing them that extra run.
There was no backing up. Those additionals, so crucial. Full toss, whipped away. The wrist protection should only be a single.
Piyumi Vatsala will be disappointed with that. A full toss from Hannah Rowe. She could have put that anywhere she wanted on the leg side, but manages to find the fielder at long on. Now the opportunity for Rashmika once again. 26 of 14. She's got going at more than 200 her strike rate right now. So she's definitely turned it on for Sri Lanka. 6.44 the current run rate, but that no longer matters. Sri Lanka need 12 of 10 deliveries. New Zealand need to keep them under that.
Slow but through the air. Clever variations. She knows exactly what to do. She knows her ability to read the mind of the batsman. Going for a wild hoik. Off cutter. Misses it altogether.
Yeah, little bit of deviation as well off the pitch for Hannah Rowe. So that's a good delivery. That experience. Once again, we've been talking about experience. Rowe's got plenty of it.
This time she made connection. Plenty of air. Fielder settles underneath and takes a good catch. Rashmika Sewandi played so well, but that time gained height instead of distance. Once again, a slower delivery does the trick for Hannah Rowe.
Yeah, a massive breakthrough for New Zealand, and you can see the disappointment in Rashmika Sewandi's face. She's done the hard work. She's brought Sri Lanka to the brink. But as I said before, there will always be nerves. She got bat on it, got plenty of bat on it, but found height and not distance. That's a good catch under pressure, almost going through the fingers. But New Zealand, they are holding their nerve so far.
Batted so well. 26 runs off 16 deliveries, few boundaries. Rashmika done her job. She walks back 118 for 7. Shashini Gimhani, she's capable. You all know that. Clearing mid-wicket boundary. She's done that exceeding the bell, even for the national setup. Goes through mid-wicket region, picks up a single. Will they come back for the second? No, they won't.
Yeah, that's good batting from Gimhani. She needs to give Vatsala the strike as much as possible. And now responsibility lies with Vatsala. She is a senior player. She's been in the national side recently, so she's been in a bit of a run of form. Sri Lanka to get home, 11 off 7. They need to come off her bat.
Crucial final delivery of Hannah Rosova. Made some room, made solid connection, played straight down the ground. They initially considering the possibility of coming back for the second single. All they get, excellent over, wicket being taken. Sri Lanka needing 10 runs off the final over, 19 down, 120 for 7. Certainly possible. 10 runs off 6 deliveries. All it takes, a boundary or 2. Shashini Gimhani, definitely capable. So is Piyumi Vatsala. Very, very interesting conclusion. This is exactly what we expected, Esther.
Yes, we always talk about how different the feeling is on the field. On paper, might have looked comfortable, 15 off 2 overs. Then you get an over like that one from Hannah Rowe. And once again, Sri Lanka under pressure, losing wickets. 10 off 6, you would got to say it's even at the moment. Piyumi Vatsala importantly on strike.
An edge. Misses it. Will it go all the way? The chase is on. Tickles over the boundary. Piyumi certainly wouldn't mind how it comes. Vital boundary. Take a look at Sri Lanka's dugout.
They say fortune favours the brave. Piyumi Vatsala making huge amount of room. Just gets an outside edge and that's flown past the wicket keeper. No slip in place, of course. The last over of the innings, it's run away to the boundary for 4. So now equation 6 off 5.
Fuller down the ground. Takes a single very, very quickly. That's all they take. 5 runs off first 2 deliveries. Young Shashini Gimhani on strike.
Watkin hasn't bowled badly, but in 2 deliveries, she's conceded 5 runs, and now all the pressure is on her, isn't it? 4 deliveries to defend 5 runs, 4 for a tie.
Coming down the track. That'll do it. Huge 6 over mid-wicket region. That'll do the trick for Sri Lankans. They were under pressure. 2 young duo does the trick. Shashini Gimhani, as she walks in, I mentioned she is capable of clearing the mid-wicket boundary. That's exactly what she did. Elated Sri Lankan players.
Now that's exactly the type of finish that Sri Lanka would have wanted. Young Gimhani hitting with the wind, clears the boundary comfortably. So Jess Watkin, unlucky with the first 2 deliveries and then just smashed over the mid-wicket boundary by the youngster. So Sri Lanka A, despite being in a bit of bother with 5 overs to go, they've come out winners by 3 wickets in this first T20 between these 2 sides. Handshakes all round. It's been a good performance, a close game between these 2 teams.
They'll take it whichever way it comes. They were under pressure against very experienced New Zealand A outfit. Rolled them over during the third one day. They were down on confidence coming into this game, but did they stood up? Oh yes, they did. I thought they conceded 15 to 20 runs more than they should, but with a bat, down the order. Excellent contribution by Rashmika Sevwandi, and Shashini Gimhani does the finishing touches. Sri Lanka winning by 3 wickets. They are in front, 1-0 up.
Yeah, it'll be great for the confidence of these young players as well. Went down in that ODI series, 1-0, 2 washouts. And then that heavy beating in the final ODI. That is that final shot, the winning shot from Shashini Gimhani. She had no doubt that was clearing the boundary. The moment there, the New Zealander in the deep thought, she had a chance, but comfortably over her head. So that's the end of the first T20 between these two sides. Satya Sandeepani, the skipper, leading the team off. They'll be very happy with that performance, taking a 1-0 series lead going into the second game in a couple of days.
Sri Lanka got few areas to work on. They made fair share of mistakes, but this win definitely make them feel very good, and that will help them to eradicate those mistakes. As we are looking at the batting, Vishmi Gunaratne earlier on looking good, 27 of 31. And down the order, Pumi not out on 21. A match-winning knock by Rashmika Sew won these 26 runs of just 16 deliveries. Shashini Gimhani, as we expected, got it over mid-wicket region, winning the game for Sri Lanka. They are 1-0 up.
That's the bowling card for New Zealand. Hannah Rowe, 2 for 22. She bowled brilliantly and really set up the game going into that last over. Not to be for the visitors. 1 wicket apiece for Black, Watkin and Armstrong. Knight once again impressive, 2 for 27. 19.3 overs is what New Zealand bowled, conceding 131 for 7. They'll be disappointed with that bowling performance because for much of the game, they really did have control of that Sri Lankan side. It was just that one little cameo from Rashmika Sewandi that changed things.
I thought consists of so many youngsters. Kawindi didn't stay long. She batted well during the one-dayers. Not too many runs here. Vishmi Gunaratne picking up timely boundaries. Kept things moving for the Sri Lankans, and this is the dismissal of Vimoksha Balasuriya. Taking too much of risk. Brief partnership between Vishmi Gunaratne and skipper. Few close calls here and there.
Yeah, that was Knight picking up the wicket of Satya Sandeepani, and then Black picking up Vishmi Gunaratne. At that point, New Zealand were well ahead. They've got the crucial wickets, and when Deumi Vihanga went a couple of overs later, looked like it would be curtains for Sri Lanka. But then New Zealand just giving Sri Lanka a little bit of assistance with their fielding. Misfields here and there, boundaries found by the Sri Lankan batters. That gave them the little push that they needed to go all the way.
I thought Rashmika's innings was the difference, winning and losing. That huge six certainly set the tone. That's Rashmika's dismissal. She was very disappointed. She was determined that she'll finish the job. And Pimi Vatsala, that edge towards third man region, and that huge six, a memorable one for the Sri Lankans. Look at the celebrations inside the dugout. Sri Lanka wins their first game. As we are looking at the match summary, winning the toss, New Zealand had no hesitation in deciding to bat first, 129 for 6. I thought late charge took them over 120. They were tottering at 1 point, Gagging 35, Catton 25, Watkin 20 and Wakelin 15. With the ball, Chamudi outstanding, 2 for 28. Satya Sandeepani 2 for 12 of her 3 overs. Sachini does the trick with the ball in hand, 2 for 12. And in reply, Sri Lanka didn't get off to a very good start. Not too many runs for Kawindi. Vishmi stayed there for a while. Rashmika 26. Match-winning knock. Pumi not out on 21. Deumi 14. All in all, Sri Lanka just did enough. They got areas to improve, but this win will definitely give them truckload of confidence. Things will be in readiness for the post-match presentation. We'll take a break and come back soon after that. Welcome back to RDICS. Clear weather, perfect day for cricket, and what an exciting game of T20 cricket. We are ready for the post-match presentation. We have Kosala Suresh Chandra down there. Over to you, Kosala.
Thank you, Dhammika. Welcome to the post-match presentation. First of all, I would like to thank Sri Lanka Cricket for their planning and efforts in organizing this tour. ThinkCube, the event rights partner, for their support. Our broadcast partner, Talent TV, TV Supreme, Fan Code, and Sporty.lk for bringing the action live to the fans worldwide. So let me start off with inviting losing captain in today's game. We had a very thrilling game of T20 cricket. I would like to call upon Jess Watkin to just not enough.
Nah, definitely. I think we're a few runs short there.
And at one time, you might have felt 75 for 6. You got the game back in your control.
Yeah, definitely. I think Sri Lanka just won a few crucial moments that kind of stopped us from getting that 140, 150.
What do you take out of this game?
I think we just didn't do the basics well today, so I think we'll be working hard on that to try and be better in 2 days' time.
So hopefully better plans for the game on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
Wish you all the best for your next game.
Thank you.
So now we move on to inviting the winning captain. But before that, I would also like to mention the player of the match, Satya Sandeepani, for her figures of 8, for making 8 runs and getting 2 for 12 in 3 overs and captaining and leading the Sri Lanka team to victory. And she's also the winning captain, so she will come and collect her award from our match referee, Mangala Jayasena, and have a few words with me. සතේ will have few. සතේ ඔබ හිතනවාද එක වෙලාවක ලකුණු 75ට කඩු 6 මොකද්ද කණ්ඩායමේ තිබෙ හැංගීමේ අවස්ථාවේ?
මම හිතන්නේ කණ්ඩායමක වශයෙන් අපි හොඳට ඩග් අවුට් එකේ අපි ලොකු ප්‍රෙෂර් එකක් ගත්තේ නැහැ. යන්නේ හිටිය බැට්ස්මන්ලාත් අපි කතා කරේ අපිට ගහන්න පුළුවන් අපි අන්තිම ඕවර්ස් දෙක වෙනකම් මැච් එක අදිමු කියලා තමයි කතා කරේ. ඔව් විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ වගේ තරඟයකදී මොනවද මේකින් තව ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ඊළඟ තරගත්? මම හිතනවා තව අපේ බැට්ස්මන්ලා විදියට අපි කට්ටිය තව ටිකක් ඉම්ප්‍රූව් වෙලා ලොකු ස්කෝර් එකක්
පන්දු රැකීමේදී යම් කිසි අඩුපාඩු වගේක් සිදු වුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ මම හිතන්නේ සල්කිල ගන්න වෙයි.
ඔව්
හරි අපි සුබ පතනවා ඔබට ඉතින් තරඟ.
ඔව් ඇත්තටම පොඩි දෙයක් කියන්න තියෙනවා. මම හිතනවා මට මේ අවෝඩ් එක මට හම්බුණා. හැබැයි මම හිතනවා මේකේ හරියම හිමිකාරියනේ සචිනි නිසංසලා. මම කැමති එයාට මේක ප්‍රසන්ට් කරන්න.
So the captain says that she would like to donate her Player of the Award trophy to Sachini Nisansalas. A real gesture from the team captain. A winning knock, and definitely an encouragement from the captain to her players. Thank you very much, Mr. Mangala, match referee. And with that, we come to the conclusion of our post-match presentation. We hope to meet you on the 23rd Saturday for the second T20 encounter. Till then, have a pleasant day.
Thank you so much, Kosala. What an exciting game of cricket. Sri Lanka were under pressure, having lost 6 wickets, but the youngsters did the job, and very interesting gesture. Skipper dedicating her awarding it back to Nisansala, and she thought she performed outstandingly well. As we are looking at the match summary, Sri Lanka 1-0 up. Very, very crucial series, just as we mentioned before the start of this game. New Zealand winning the toss 129 for 6. Key performer gagging to 35 of 27 deliveries. Chamudi, brilliant with the ball, 2 for 28. Satya, 2 for 12. Sachini, exactly the same figures, 4 overs, so even better economy, 2 for 12. Rashmika was a little expensive. In reply, Sri Lanka didn't get off to a good start. Wish me 27. Rashmika match-winning knock, 26 of 16 deliveries. Pumi not out on 21. And Rowe, experienced campaigner, 2 for 22. Put the brakes on scoring. Knight, 2 for 27 once again. Lead the wicket-taking charge. Black, 1 for 22. And Watkin, 1 for 30. Sri Lanka just managed to get over the line during the final over, winning the game by 3 wickets, 1-0 up. We are ready to bring you the live action on the next one-day right here at Dambulla, 23rd. We are hoping to meet you with exciting T20 cricket. Until then, stay safe. Good night.